Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. And today I'll be reading A Scaramouche Listener by me. So let's get into it. Scaramouche was a very difficult person, and he knew that well before dating him. So he started dating. Him being difficult was not something of surprise. In fact, it was something that he knew he'd have to work on and improve. But still, that didn't mean that the difficulties were any easier that way. In fact, through navigating this relationship, sometimes you ended up feeling extremely lonely. Lonelier than you should ever have to feel, and much lonelier than any person in a relationship should feel. But that's how it was. And he knew, though it was not fully right, and though maybe if it was anyone else, he would have been angry and he would have left a very long time ago. This was what love did to a person. It made them go through things that otherwise they wouldn't have. But you loved him. You loved Scaramouche more than anything, and more than anyone in this world. And so, you made your choice to endure, to keep going, to keep helping him, to be the best version of himself, no matter what. Even if it came at the extent of your own happiness, you knew that you were going to do this, and you also knew that seeing the end product and the way how it would all be after all your hard work, of course combined with his, it would make you happy, and it would make this patience worthwhile. After all, surely there had to be a reason that you were doing this, and surely there would be a reward for all this time. You knew your relationship was not the most normal one out there, but that didn't mean that it would stop you from trying to do your best and be your best, knowing that Scaramouche was damn well doing his best too. But sometimes doing one's best was not enough. Sometimes it can't erase a past or one's nature that would not so easily change. Scaramouche was not a violent person by nature, but he had lived for centuries, and he had hurt people, a lot of them. This was something that he could not suddenly stop and change. This kind of thing stuck with a person, and it would change, yes, but gradually. However, it meant that as long as it did not change, sometimes you could be caught in these things too. That's how, when he tried to lecture him, on the way he talked to that old lady that was passing by, and you were trying to be very gentle about the way you lectured them, you had zero idea what was coming, and you did not totally expect him to slap you in the face, to look at you with such anger that it made you freeze, staring at him, the only movement being your hand that was going to cup your cheek, that was now bruised. How could he do this to you? How? Just why? You had so many questions, and at this point, you had no idea whether you wanted them to be unanswered or not. Perhaps you didn't want to hear him say the real reason behind this, or admit the fact that maybe him changing was not a possibility, and that you were just living in a dream. He was staring at you with a stunned expression of his own, like he too was surprised by what happened, like he didn't realize what his actions had just done, and was only now seeing the impact of them. Lion, just give me a moment. I didn't mean to, he said, scrambling to try and explain the situation. only for you to shake your head, tears running down your cheeks. I don't want to hear it. Look, Scaramouche, I've tried. I've tried so hard to make this work. But maybe we just aren't meant to be. If you're hurting me like this, if you're making everything so difficult, then maybe it's just not going to work out. You said, crying. And it wasn't like he was going to deny what you were saying. You were correct. He was undeserving of the kindness that you gave him. And to be honest, he never really took it for granted. He knew that someday, you too would be sick of him, and you would leave him, and it would absolutely be his fault. And looking at it now, the hand that he had struck you with, it truly was his fault that this happened, and there was nothing he could do about it. No sort of apology would turn time back, and nothing would be able to fix all that he has ruined. So he did the only thing he knew how to do. He got down on his knees, looking up at you. Well, I get it if you don't want to get back to me. If you hate me, then I understand. But please, let me explain. Please, Wayan, please. I don't want this to be our last memory, he said desperately. And you looked at him, shaking your head. Scaramouche, we can't fix this. So stop. Stop it because you're hurting me. With every second I spend with you, I'm being hurt. I've been patient, and I've waited, only for this to happen to me. Wayan, you know that's not it. It was an accident. I couldn't control myself. I swear it. I would have never hurt you otherwise. I just have no idea what came over me. Please. Scaramouche. I can't. I just can't. I'm tired. I've put up with a lot, and I can't do it anymore. He whispered, turning away and leaving him all alone. It was hard. It hurt you. Perhaps even more than it hurt him. But it had to happen. And he knew that this was the only way that your relationship would end. And that anything else you tried to do was just denying the inevitable. And this was the truth. The reality. And it was time that you faced it. With your heart. No matter how much it was going to break. Or hurt. And Scaramouche, meanwhile, he felt like once again, he was a wanderer. Someone with no home. And no lover to go back into their arms. But perhaps this is how it was all meant to be. And it was time he accepted it too.